Annual conference is a wonderful reminder of our connectedness as a United Methodist faith.
Learn that our church is not only alive after a few rough years, that we all have to acknowledge we're not only alive, we're being renewed, and we're being given the blessing and the opportunity to reclaim our place as the place of inclusiveness, the place of love and service to the community.
So one of my favorite parts was having many churches, big and small, throughout the state share some of their programs and ministries that they're doing to be Christ in the community.
I think what was really great about the annual conference is just the rededication of United Methodist Church's focus on making sure that all people were welcome. And so there's a lot of really cool things that happened. We voted as an annual conference on ratifying some more inclusive language into the General Conference's Constitution, which included gender and ability as reasons that people couldn't be excluded from membership, which I thought was really cool. We also had this really amazing Juneteenth celebration, which was followed by a rededication to racial justice and inclusivity, which was just really awesome. And the last thing that I thought was really great was that we got to look at, I'm going to read it, a new, let's see, make sure we say this right, like mission for the United Methodist Church, which talks about working together to build vital faith communities by following Jesus, loving people, and sharing grace. And so I really thought that that was a beautiful statement that really reflected our beliefs. And so I think that kind of highlighted all these like really great things that happened at conference.
So what we're reclaiming is that as people of God, United Methodists are open, inclusive, and purveyors of grace to our fellow man.
We have the most wonderful worship services and with the most wonderful, moving, powerful music, which is just really an uplifting part of annual conference.
It all was meaningful. The experience, though, of these worship services, the depth and meaning of the prayers, the public prayer, the music, incredible music, incredible voices, and amazing musicians. Starts the day off right. It builds it uplifts you in a way that is so very meaningful.
The new vision statement or tagline that we as Methodists are going to be incorporating, which was following Jesus, loving people, sharing grace.
The several sermons that we heard each day, I thought were powerful and meaningful and remind me that this is a substance of life that I'm happy to be a part of. And I think anyone in our church that ever has a chance to go to annual conference, don't let the business meetings put you off. What's going on, the spirit that moves in those meeting halls is remarkable.
I think the thing that I learned the most at annual conference is that the church is alive and well. I think that over the past several years, there's been a lot of turmoil within the church, and so I was a little nervous to go to annual conference just because I was afraid that there would be some of those feelings left over and it wouldn't be a rejoiceful, happy place. But annual conference is just the opposite of that. I was really just impressed of all the United Methodist churches that were there, and we're just celebrating the work of the church and just leaning into our identity of who we are, and then also just being there to worship together was just really special.
I think we felt the love and the grace and the mercy and the hospitality and the warmth, the joy of being there together as United Methodist Christians.
So the thing that I liked about the annual conference is that I got to figure out who was who and how it all worked together. You know, I didn't grow up Methodist, and so the first time that I ever went to this annual conference, it gave me insight to how the inner workings of the Methodist faith. And I would say the most impactful thing for myself at this last annual conference was Josh Bland becoming a fully fledged, if that's how you say it, deacon. I think that's how you say it. Just a ceremonial part of that. Just seeing that journey, because we went 2 years ago when he first made it known that he was going to become, and that ceremony was completely different than the ceremony that we experienced this time. So just being part of that and being in the know. That was what I liked to know.
His laity in this special church, in this special denomination, we are all given an opportunity to lead in different ways. We all have different gifts. And if you never went as a lay member to the annual conference, the power and effect of your life as members of this church fuels each other. One thing I've come to understand about church membership, church attendance, corporate worship, this shared experience on Sundays, but other days too, as members of this church, is that it serves amazingly effectively to encourage each other in the faith. I think that's a really important experience, and we should never discount or wonder if God's at work there. We know He is.
Is that we voted on 4 key resolutions. And so these were put forward by the General Conference, which is the big United Methodist conference all over the world. And so every annual conference, which ours is just like the state of Arkansas, was asked to vote on ratifying those. And in order for those to get passed, 2/3 of the conferences have to pass those. We won't know how Arkansas voted until every conference votes. So, and then we'll kind of know the outcomes of those. But the reason I bring those up is because those things have kind of been ongoing. So one was regionalization. And I would put this as that different regions of the world can make changes to our rules based on what works for their region. We also voted on some rules that related to LGBTQ folks, and basically that ministers had the right to decide whether or not they wanted to marry or officiate weddings, and that's an individual choice. And then we looked at, this one was a little bit different, but just some changes on the rules that different members, like pastors versus or local pastors versus elders and deacons, who gets to vote on what things, which that gets a little complicated, but it essentially gave deacons some more things, some more say and some more voice, which I think that's a good thing as well.
It felt like a family reunion. So it was really fun to get to see previous pastors. What was really fun for me is that I ran into my old youth minister from this church. And so that's one of the things that I love the most about the United Methodist Church, is that we are a connectional church, and that even though we get pastors for seasons and things like that, they're still a part of our faith journey. And so getting to run into those people and visit them, that was the most special thing for me.
Is that the United Methodist annual conference is alive, and it went really well, and loving and accepting of all, and I think that's what everybody should be.
Oftentimes we sit in our local congregations and we're like, what is the church doing? The church isn't doing enough. But I can tell you, I sat through 3 days of meetings hearing all the great work of the church. And so if you ever doubted that the United Methodist Church is alive and well and not doing things to be the actual body of Christ, you're mistaken, like I was, because the church is most definitely alive, and it is out in our communities, out in our world, and really just being the hands and feet of Jesus to our neighbors.